Hey, Gearheads, this is Chris. I'm Pickle, and welcome to Hangin with Pickle, along with my co-host Mike Lowry. And let's see if we can bring Mike on here. There we go. Mike, you out there? Oh, I got Mike muted. All right, Mike, you there?
Hey, Pickle, how you doing?
Good,
Guys, I'm
brother,
Mike
good.
Lyle, aka Mike Lowry, with Tar Heel State Hangers, and we're hanging with Mr. Pickle.
That's right. Tonight we with Hanging with Pickle, I think we'll discuss all things hammock related and some of the biggest names in the industry, if Mike and I can finagle them into joining us on this little party. And before we begin with tonight's guests, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about ourselves in case you don't know us. This may be a little bit more than just our friends at Gear-Report and Tar Heel State Hangers, and what gives us the right to talk about hammocks and hammock camping. Mike, what you got?
Well, as you can see, I'm in my hammock pretty much all the time, for one. And I'm the president of Tar Heel State Hangers, a hammock hanging group for North Carolina. We host several hangs throughout the year. Pretty much eat, breathe, sleep hammocking.
For me, I've been hammock camping for about 4 years now. I've been with Gear-Report for just over three of them. I've hammock camped in 10 different states. I think eight or nine of them been with Mike. I own at least a dozen different hammock setups from different companies and different vendors and manufacturers. And, let's just get into it. Let's just have some fun. On to the main show. Let's bring in our guests. We have Don and Dave from Jacks Are Better, the owners of Jacks Are Better. We should have a couple more guests joining us in a moment, but we have yet to see them pop in here. What's going on? Toby and Todd in the stream, and Ghost is showing up. Don, Dave, right now we got a bunch of people that don't know who you are because they're not hammock campers. They're some of my Gear-Report Second Amendment buddies. So
Nice.
give us a little bit of what you guys are about.
Well, we got lucky a couple years ago. Actually, I got lucky, in 2005, switched over to hammock camping. Got tired of carrying a heavy pack and sleeping on the ground. Bought a Hennessy hammock. Actually, I bought two Hennessy hammocks. I got one for me, one for the wife. And then I got two Jacks Are Better Nest underquilts. And that's when I started hammocking. About 2 years later, I met the Jacks at the Fall Maha up in Maryland. And the following spring, we did a big section of the AT from Shenandoah up to Harper's Ferry. Became real fast friends. Peter Pan, Jack Tier, became a father figure, mentor, and my bad influence. He's gotten me into riding motorcycles, drinking scotch, and now small business ownership. So for years, he was bugging me, "You're going to buy this company when I'm done?" I'm like, "Nope, I make really good money in the corporate world." And he just kept saying it and saying it. And finally, he turned 73. He's like, "I'm done." I'm like, "You know what? I'm done with the corporate world too." Dave was interested, and we sealed the deal. And it's been 2 years in March that we took over.
Yep, and I've known Don for almost over 20 years. I started hammock camping for basically kayaking down the Susquehanna River, camping on islands, and then hiking the AT as well. I got into it. Don and I kind of got into it separately. I had moved away for a while. We got back together, just talking about hammocking, and he's like, "Yeah, I sleep in a hammock, and I sleep in a hammock too." And then when the Jacks were ready to retire, we were just like, "I'm done with corporate. You're done with corporate. Let's do this." And so it's been 2.5, 3 years now, long enough to lose track.
2 years. It was 2 years beginning of the month.
Congrats, guys, and welcome to the party. Let's see. We did have a question from the audience. Well, It's coming from Ghost, so I guess the peanut gallery would be more correct. He wants to know if we're talking about banana hammocks.
Yes, and thongs as well.
Yes.
All the time.
So
that's it. But they're hard to sew.
They
It's
are.
awesome. You got to get the tailoring right.
Got to get the tailoring just right.
And I had to say to budget guns, tent, I hate them too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Budget. We're I wouldn't say we're all anti ground dwelling, but there are. If you're just a tent camper, there is a better way to sleep in the woods.
Yes.
What's going on, Barry? Yeah, Ghost. We need to get you into a hammock. That would definitely make things interesting. Let's see. I just had some technical issues, and I think it was with my script for all this. So I think the script's gone.
Cool.
So
off the rails. I like it.
Yeah, we are off script.
Took a solid 6 minutes and 15 seconds.
It did. I had it all written up and ready to roll, and poof, there it goes. So, I did want to. I was trying to kill some time, let the other guests arrive, but I have no idea where they happen to be.
They're lost in time zone land.
Yeah, they are. They probably thought this was 7 o'clock Central Standard Time as opposed to Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah,
why we're starting an hour early.
They both just messaged
Early.
and they're like,
Okay.
oops.
Yeah.
Early. But
so that early thing has really become a thorn in my life, because I'm having customers on the phone and we're talking 9 to 5 day job stuff, and they're like, well, I was working on this early this morning. I'm like, early? Yeah, it was early this morning.
Hey, speaking of which,
Oh, there's some Maple King love.
Nice.
There's some Maple King love.
So how was hiking with those two back in the fall?
It was a really good trip. It was not what I was expecting. It was much more laid back, much more genuine than I was expecting it to be. So, and Mike got to spend a little bit of time with Hickory a couple weekends ago.
I didn't traipsing off through the woods to do it either.
C'est la vie. All right, I think I got somebody to add to this stream.
what?
There he is.
Hey, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Warren Ashworth, owner of Cedar Ridge Outdoors. So, for those of you non-hammock campers in the group, what we've got here tonight is we've got direct competitors. We've got two of the hottest manufacturers in hammock quilts and accoutrements in the industry. And for you gun guys, it's kind of like I've got Colt and Smith & Wesson in the same chat. And I probably completely screwed that up because, I'm a hammock guy. Welcome to my world. But Warren, how you doing tonight, brother? Do we have Warren's audio? He is not muted.
He might have muted on his end.
Warren, are you muted? Can you hear me?
So let them know.
Okay. All right. So Warren's not going to say anything tonight. So I guess
that's his good thing anyway. Just sitting around looking pretty. Like it's kind of his thing. He's good at it.
Yeah, Richard does all the talking.
Oh, that's right. Richard does do all the talking. Where's Richard?
Different.
Or like pen.
He has to check his headphones.
Yep. Okay. Plug the headphones in.
Put them in your ears.
Put them in your ears. Can you hear me, Warren? Oh. There was a muted. He's unmuted. Oh, I see lips moving, but I don't hear nothing.
What is he? Is he?
Okay, Warren's saying he can't hear anything and he has to check his headphones.
All right, check your headphones. Up, I hear static. That might be Warren. You there? That's an outside noise. Say hi, Warren. So, while Warren's working on his audio issues, how's the last 2 weeks been to you guys,
Ugh.
Don, Dave? I mean, I heard earlier the governor's got you on grounded because you just can't stay out the woods.
Well, we're grounded, and the way we're interpreting that, all of our staff is home safe. We're keeping everybody home. A couple, some of our staff members are in one of the higher at-risk groups just because of their age. So everybody's at home. We're not producing anything right now other than a couple of our home sewers down in Virginia and North Carolina are still sewing for us. And they, I got to go in actually next week and cut some more fabric for them and send off. But our operation of stuffing, finishing, and any of the quilts we make in our actual shop without our home sewers, they're not getting done right now. Everything on the site except for one underquilt, they're in stock and ready to ship. So I've just been going in every day we get an order, send them out. But orders, they're trickling in. Everybody, there's not a lot of confidence right now. People are going to be saving their money to figure out how long is this thing. We don't know. But hearing a lot from customers. Every time I'm in the shop, I get 1 or 2 phone calls, and we've got customers that we get a call and we'll be on the phone for an hour talking to them, just whether talking about hammocking, fly fishing, camping, or the one guy the other day just called to check on us.
Yeah, and I mean, I've reached out a couple times every time I hear something happens in Pennsylvania just to see if you guys are still with it, or if you're losing your minds, or heck, if you're gonna just hop a train and head on down here to the Carolinas.
Well, hey, for the other side of the gear review, can tell them that the gun stores reopened in Pennsylvania. They're deemed life-sustaining critical business. Hey, Warren!
Hey, it's Warren!
You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It just popped on.
Okay.
It just fixed itself.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries, man.
Good to have you with us, Warren.
Yes, it's good to hear you. I don't know what happened to Richard, but he was on earlier about 6:30 and working fine. So, Warren, welcome to the party. Now that you got your audio out of the way, let's get the introductions taken care of.
And we're Central Time.
Yeah. That's why I put EST on all the 7 o'clock.
I thought that was estimated.
Oh. Yeah.
I didn't even pay 7 o'clock, and there's no other time.
So, Warren, tell the group in the chat a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm the original founder of Cedar Ridge, and now me and Richard have been partners now for almost 4 years, I think. So, other than that, I'm a paramedic. I still work full time on an ambulance, and sew quilts the rest of the time.
That's awesome, man. What is Mike doing? Mike's all sideways.
Mike, you're gonna fall out of the hammock if it's that far.
Yeah. So how's the current events affecting you? Because I know with the paramedics, it's got to be weighing on your mind. I'm sure you're probably finding some place to sew up some masks every now and then.
Yeah, we've been doing quite a bit of mask sewing here lately. The shutdown, really, our suppliers are shut down, so they're up in northern Kentucky, Ohio for down, and they're iffy. The lady that handles our account for down, she's kind of iffy of whether they're going to be able to get stuff out to us or not. We can only store so much at our shop, and then as far as material and printed stuff, it's not coming. So we're just trying to do the best we can with what we have right now, and sewing some masks on the side, and I know as a paramedic, I kind of know what the healthcare system has here locally, and that's going to be gone fairly quickly.
Okay.
Hey, Warren, I actually had a question in relation to that. Do you know, is the fabric that they want, is it just cotton, or are they taking any other fabrics as well? I don't know if you.
Warren, did you get that?
No. Am I lagging really bad?
Yeah, there is
yeah,
there is a bit of a lag. You got about a 2-second lag from what I can tell.
Oh. What was, who said what?
So it's Dave. I was just asking for the masks. Is it just cotton, or is it other fabrics that you can do too?
On the fabrics on the masks, is it just cotton, or are there other fabrics that you can add to it? Dave was asking.
So there's been back and forth on the material. They went into a solid polyethylene type material, and now they're back to a woven cotton, which is what we've been sewing while they've been waffling back and forth. We're using a 100% woven cotton outer with 100% cotton flannel inner on them, and we just went and grabbed a bunch of material, and we're just sewing them up. Pretty much, I've been sewing them nonstop. Huh?
Are you doing the double-sided ones that have the pocket for a disposable filter?
We hadn't yet. The filters here locally, nobody knows where to get them, and
looks like we just we're back. Everybody there?
Yes.
Yep.
I got Mike. All right, cool.
The information that I got from the state was just the double-sided, the cotton like we're making them is going to be sufficient. They're kind of looking on the terms of something's better than nothing, which is probably going to be the case here soon.
Gotcha. Okay.
Dave's mom's been sewing up a bunch for us. Today when I saw her, she had 100 ready to go, and we're just going to keep doing it. We got a bunch of elastic. Apparently elastic is the hard thing to find right now.
Yeah, I've heard that the elastics.
Just out a couple months, he went in and got them out to us. So we just got those today, so that'll help. We've been using hair bands and stuff.
Hey man, whatever works.
Chris C has asked, actually, to that question, is elastic acceptable, or does it have to be cotton strings?
They've been requesting either, I think it's 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch flat elastic is the preferred. But there's other tricks you can do. You can do the 1/8 inch round, but the flat's what everybody wants from what we've seen.
Okay.
But you can't get a straight answer. It's like we've got a friend who's a director of Veterans Affairs out of Philadelphia who's tied in with CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and they don't know exactly what they want. But same thing, something's better than nothing.
No. Budget Guns and Gear Reviews is asking. So, go ahead.
I will say, if you're going to use, if all you have is the round 1/8 inch elastic, or the 1/8 inch cord, like shot cord, you might want to make it a little bit longer because it's got a whole lot more tension on it than the flat elastic does.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty good right now. We originally got 5 spools of the flat from Dutch, and he's got another 3 on the way. And I found another one in the shop. So we'll hopefully we've got enough of the flat for now.
Yeah, we do too. We just got a bunch in today, so.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the technical difficulties tonight. My internet's been solid and running wide open all day since about 6 a.m. this morning. So
it's tired.
It's probably tired. Too much of the day job, and I've been working from the house for the last week and a half. I was telling Dave earlier, the only thing that's changed in my day-to-day life is my commute got a half hour shorter. So I get to sleep in an extra half hour, and I have to launch one extra program onto my computer in the morning. And that's literally the difference. So
you're saying you don't talk to anybody all day anyway? Or
just like this.
Yeah. My internet,
Nobody
I got
wants
on
to talk
earlier
to me.
section, it was strong,
if I had that job, I
rolling
might have
good,
stayed in the
and then I went
corporate
to get
world.
on just a minute ago, and it said not connected. So I had to switch to the cell phone and go outside.
Yeah. So I don't know what's been going on. It's been solid. No, Dave, I don't talk to anybody during the day. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to talk to me. That's why
I'm sure that's not true.
That's why I have you knuckleheads as my friends.
Facebook messaging all day at work.
What are you drinking,
Yeah,
Dave?
that's it.
I went cheap. Well, there we go.
You're always cheap.
Jim Beam?
I figured we were going to drink a lot,
Hello, buddy.
so I just went to Jim Beam. I didn't want to drink a whole bottle of Basil Hayden in a night.
Yeah, that'll probably happen too, though.
Yeah, it will, but not
old-fashioned going here.
in public.
I'm going Basil Hayden in your honor, since
Nice.
first time I drank it was hanging out with Richard and Warren.
Cheese.
Oh man,
yeah, that's pretty good.
Not drinking with Richard and Warren. That
No.
can be interesting.
Why?
But damn, man. Did they?
So we
Warren,
were
did
at
they?
the fall sprawl for another hang group, and they entered a new drink. It was called the Pepper Pot.
Oh Lord,
I'm
the
sure
fried
Dave
guy.
will fill you in on that thing, man.
What? It'll take your legs away from you. I'll tell you that.
The Pepper Pot has
it'll
a
light people
technique
on
to take
fire,
your legs
too.
away.
If you're sitting down, it's completely fine. If
It
you try to
lights things on
stand up,
fire.
you're gonna be on your butt. It was a trip, but
Literally.
we made friends.
Man, I can't hear Dave at all.
And then that's my fault.
I'm getting bad feedback from somebody.
Yeah, Dave was breaking up there for a moment. I think it's.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think it might be my internet connection.
It could be everybody's all working together.
So, yeah, there's that. There's the fact that we all wish we were in the woods.
Speaking of internet connection, has anybody else been having issues lately with their internet? Like it's running a lot slower than normal?
Yeah, so what that is the internet companies and the providers are actually dialing back a bit due to the increased with everybody being stuck at home, everybody's consuming more, there's more traffic, there's more load. So
yeah, that's what I figured it was.
Yep. So, there's that. Netflix and YouTube have basically stated, yeah, we're dropping you down from a high definition picture down to more of a standard definition picture.
Okay. Speaking of viewing channels, there was one that actually I seen that made their premium free for all members.
Would you stop it, Mike? This is still somewhat of a family-friendly show.
Hey, I didn't say where. I just said viewing.
Oh wait, that was on CNN this morning, wasn't it?
It was on the national news this morning. Yeah.
It was on the news.
Yeah.
They donated mass to first responders, which is pretty cool.
That's why Richard's not here right now.
Yeah, he's taking advantage.
Here we go.
Here we go. Well, let's stay on the rails longer than I expected.
We can get into the gutter pretty quick.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. Good Lord.
So, trips coming up. Anybody got anything
Real
planned?
funny.
Well, I'm actually, I don't want to say I'm excited, but so many things have been canceled that the May time frame when normally we're traveling, a lot of stuff's been canceled. So I'm going to be paddling and as much as possible or hiking. And
I already floated it to my wife that, since we're not going to have to flip flop or out to trail days, We need to go fly the company banner a bit more. So we're going to have to be going out and just going to more hangs and stuff this year. So
yeah,
I like it. I like it.
motorcycle trips.
I'm planning
Yeah,
on
for
trying
us,
to
we've
get into the
had,
back country this weekend. What about you,
Mhm.
Mike?
For us at Tar Heel, we've had our Easter demo hang that was coming up at Jones Lake State Park get canceled on us. We haven't scheduled our May hang, kind of trying to wait to see how things play out before we even invest any time into that. But as far as paddling, I got a paddling trip coming up. Going to a place called Three Sisters. It's the oldest recorded cypress trees in the eastern United States, Mexico, and I think Canada.
wow, where's that at?
Is it up in Dismal?
It's in Sampson County here in North Carolina on the
Okay.
Black River.
Nice. Do you need people to go with you?
Dave, I thought your next question would be how's
Yeah.
the fish?
Yeah,
Oh,
come
I'm sure
on.
it's
There's
fine.
plenty of
No.
water. We at 6 foot distance and everything.
I'll just go do that, and if the fishing's bad, I'll go to Moorhead and I'll be done.
Now, I think I'll be in the.
Side of North Carolina, holler at me.
Yep. No,
don't have
I think I'll be in.
anything planned,
I'm
unfortunately.
heading out to the gorge this weekend.
Nice.
Nothing planned, Warren.
Nothing planned. Unfortunately, they informed us yesterday on where I work as a paramedic that everybody's vacation henceforward is canceled. And don't be putting any vacation days because they won't get approved. So I'm stuck.
Oh, man.
Did they give you a timeline on that? 30, 90, 120? How many days are you looking at, or till you hear otherwise?
2, 3, 4
So what
years.
we were told yesterday, we had a briefing at work yesterday, and what they told us was the B have said that this thing has not peaked yet, and they don't know when it's going to peak, especially in Tennessee. It could be a month from now. It could be longer. You know, Tennessee's a more rural state than a lot of other places besides your big cities, so that timeline is going to be spread out a bit more here,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but you've also got Nashville and stuff like that for it to spread out from. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's
Yep.
going to be interesting.
That it is.
Yeah.
The county I'm in has a official full 9 cases. 9.
Okay.
Wow.
I've been sheltered in place for a week, and we have 9 cases.
Yeah, but I
So-
mean, it's like they said. So, because I live in Jersey,
Tell you
So-
that stuff. There's no shelter in place. There's none of that stuff. There's only suggestions. And I'll tell you, I was on the ambulance yesterday, and it's business as usual, besides
Wow.
some businesses clustering and stuff like that. But there's still tons of people out running around.
Yeah, no, 2 weekends last Saturday, so a week ago, I was out hiking and just needed to get out. And Buddy and I did 4.5, 5 miles. And by the time we got back to the trucks, there was not an open parking space in the 200 space parking lot for this hiking area. And it was closed down on Sunday. So
Yeah, they had a problem up at Old Rag in Virginia over the weekend where the parking lot filled up. They're lined up down the road, and it was pretty much like a conga line going up the mountain. So they've actually shut Old Rag down now.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So Pickl, did they shut down all the public trails in your state, or?
Well, so right now, North Carolina's a little strange. They've shut down all the campgrounds.
Okay.
They've shut down all the state parks.
Mm-hmm.
They've shut down all the bathrooms and displays and, common areas, but the trails are still open. So they've not shut down the trails, but don't expect to be able to get in and out of an outhouse or a pit
Right.
toilet and
Okay.
so on and so forth. So even some of the big hammock camping areas in North Carolina, like Yates Place, which is a free campground, and there's a pit toilet there. That's it. There's no facilities. There's tons of trees and a pit toilet, but they've got the gate closed to actually pull up into the drive-in area. So
I'll tell you, that's one of the strangest things that's for me about this whole thing is that I'm outside a lot, and the volume of people outside, I feel like I'm seeing more people than I normally see.
Oh yeah, definitely in our area.
Because it's really strange. It's nice to see people out. I'm happy they are, but it's just kind of like a freakish kind of thing with this whole thing. It's like if I go out for a hike or if I go out for a walk on my local trails, I see 4 to 5 times the normal people I see.
Yeah. So TN Prime is saying, hey, all, day 14 up here in NYC. Can't tell you what it's like to be up here because we haven't left the apartment.
Ouch.
Man.
Jeez.
Wash your hands, keep your head down, stay dry, keep the feathers up tight around. I mean, 14 days in an apartment, I don't know how to what to say to that.
Yeah. It's the right thing to do, but I feel for
my
you,
wife.
man. That's a hard thing to do.
Week with the kids, and I left early from the shop so they come home and liberate her from the kids for a while. And I was here for half the day with the kids, and I was about going crazy. 14 days, I can't imagine it.
Yep. Barry Garibaldi, our buddy out in Chattanooga. People hiking all over the place here in Chattanooga. Yep, he's living that highbrow nougat life.
That's Tennessee. Tennessee doesn't shut anything down.
Yeah, Generac Outdoor. Is that? I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Generac Outdoors. 84 cases and 3 deaths here, Greater San Antonio. Hey, I got family out in San Antonio. This thing needs to be over by November for the fall hang, so Warren and Corkin can still come out to Texas.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that.
Y'all got to come over a state in November for Thanksgiving too.
Ooh, that's a lot of traveling.
When is Thanksgiving this year?
Thanksgiving. So it's Tar Heel State Hangers Big Hang. Again, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for your donations this past year. It really meant a lot to us. And you guys had between the two of you, you had the top 3 prizes. So for that, I greatly appreciate. Thanksgiving this year will be either the 2nd or 3rd weekend in November. We like to have it close to Thanksgiving. We do not have it the first weekend in November because the state park that we have it at, Morrill Mountain State Park, has like a mountain heritage days. Mike, I know you can elaborate a little bit better on that than I can.
There's like 8,000 to 10,000 people in that park that weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not that huge of a park.
Okay. So that makes sense then. Is it like reenactors and that kind of thing?
They do a lot of like how people lived in the old days.
Okay.
Like woodworking type stuff. I'm not exactly sure what all kind of events they have. They told me 8,000 to 10,000 people that weekend. That's all I needed to know.
That sounds right.
Yeah, totally agree.
Replying back to the chat, budget guns, while you're running around there in Ohio, swing through Cambridge and see our good friends at Battle Horse Knives, and then shoot on over to Bellbrook and see Mr. John Ramble at Trailhead.
Yep.
All great people.
Warren, where's your buddy, man? I feel like
where is Corky?
Actually, my favorite comment sailor. On the live stream here, someone mentioned he's not here because he smells, which I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I was even had time spaced out for him to do a magic trick or two.
What? Jesus, man. I'll
No?
just say if it's the smell's the thing that I would say is like would be my fault, not Corky. He's well groomed. He's well
He
groomed.
thought 7 a.m. Central Time.
He probably had to take a shower and like do
Get
his
all pretty.
hair,
Exactly.
put on some.
He was on here at 6:30. Like, okay, I'm ready. I'll be there.
Pretty.
Yep.
So.
Ugh. Ugh.
Got put on his cape.
Pickl, you know what's so funny about that? So it wasn't even 6:30. It was 5:30. He was trying to be that prepared, and he still screwed it up, which is amazing.
Oh, blessed. Leave him alone.
Can we just call Randall?
Bless his heart.
That man
Dave's
makes good
making
balloon
jokes.
animals. All right.
Just a mean snake.
Anybody got? All right. We'll throw this out there. Anybody got anything new getting ready to hit the market?
We kind of did a soft launch over the past few months. We just came out with another quilt. Haven't really announced it because we haven't had a lot of volumes in just from production, trying to keep up with everything. But we're doing a wider half taper quilt, no head hole. We had a bunch of customers asking for a wider quilt and a bunch asking for a sniveler without a head hole. So we kind of combine it in the one. It's the big Meadows.
Okay.
So we're down in North Carolina right now, sewing up some of them for us. So we should have some of the 40 degrees in stock when all this stuff ends. So looking forward to that one.
They wouldn't happen to be close to me in North Carolina because, you know.
No, he just said Morehead City a while ago.
Is it Morehead City?
Yeah. It's close. He's a little bit south of Morehead, but
Okay. So that's Mike's neighborhood.
we gotta send him. We gotta send him north to put the feathers in them, though. So
Yeah.
Things that I've been working on, nothing that's anywhere close to market. The thing that we spent a lot of time and effort on was the synthetic, the up quilts, and and they've been.
How have those been working out for you?
Good. We've been selling quite a bit of them. People have been really impressed with their like a down quilt, and out of an ultralight backpack is over a down, and so he switches from a 3-pound sleeping bag to 2-pound quilt. You know, it's a big difference to them, and they're really amazed by the cost versus the weight of it. So they've been doing really good.
Warren, how much are you getting as far as people that are doing it for the lower cost versus people who want to go with a synthetic over a natural product?
I think it's probably split about 50-50. So I have $200-$300 to spend on a down quilt, where an up quilt will get them in a lighter actual hammock, and so that really like we have had quite for down alternatives, and have been really.
All right, y'all get your game faces on and get happy and polite because I'm adding somebody to the stream.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Oh boy!
Don't cross the street,
man.
Marky!
That dang time zone. That time zone making me look like an idiot again. What's up, fellas?
Hey, buddy.
I
like your
What's
shirt,
going on, buddy.
That Corky sporting this MacGyver tonight.
I'm just trying to throw a shout out.
Yeah. At least he's good people. So how you doing, Richard?
Good, man. on my time zone, I'm 30 minutes early. So, yeah.
So
I had
how
big
is it
plans.
that you and I had a conversation at like 5:30 or 5:45 my time zone?
Yeah, I was getting ready. I got out of the shower. I was trying to get some grub down. I had big plans. I was going to have a big Cedar Ridge backdrop behind me, our big tarp and all that stuff. I thought I was going to be early.
Early.
Gotta do it.
Was that your tarp or was that my tarp?
Well, I mean, everything's for sale.
Look,
I'm
not buying that Marpat tarp twice.
No doubt. I'm talking about the one that says Cedar Ridge on it. That's Warren's, but I'm more than happy to sell it.
Oh yeah.
So what I miss out on?
Well, Dave just went to the bathroom. So you caught Dave going to the bathroom.
That's all right. I was talking to him earlier in the bathroom. So.
Oh, okay.
What else?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Everybody's just kind of going over really how the big elephant in the country right now is affecting us.
It's crazy.
With this all this nonsense of getting locked down and grounded by the governor, and Mike may have just lost the power because all of a sudden his screen went dark. I don't know.
Warren went dark.
Mike went dark. Warren went dark.
Mike coming to get us.
Dave left the room.
They're coming to get us.
So what about you on your end? How's it going over there?
Well, I mean, we've kind of turned our production. Our community is low on mass. I think that's pretty much every community in the country right now. But
yep.
Me and Warren both are very rural areas and low on mass, and we're still getting out quilts as we can. Materials and stuff are hard to get right now.
Yeah.
But we've swapped over to making face masks for the community. We're doing it's a CDC alternative face mask. I've got one over. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I've got one over here right now. Hang on.
And while he's getting that, that's what I love about this community. You guys, we've got two of the hottest vendors. I know you guys are pumping out more quilts per capita than at least 3 or 4 of the other well-known vendors in the hammock and camp and outdoors community. And on the drop of a hat, you just switched up everything to start creating face masks because that's where the need was.
That's a huge need right now. And it was something, Warren is actually, he came up with it. He called me. He's like, hey man, like, I feel like we need to help out however we can. And he's like, I think the thing we can do is make face masks. And I said, I mean, that's amazing. And I showed up next day. I was on shift. He was off. And so showed up the next day, and he had materials and patterns and everything. And we just kind of went full face mask mode. We've got a window. We're just handing them out the window to people as they pull up. We've shipped a lot to customers. Our previous customers, they saw where we were doing it, and of course, it's something Cedar Ridge, and it's also something they need. So we've shipped something like that. But we're really kind of trying to do it for our community. I mean, we want to do it for anybody, but we've had gone through hundreds of them where people just stop by, come up to the window, and we're trying to limit contact in that way to just social distancing or whatever, but just going to the window and handing them out. But this is what we're doing. It's we've just got some different prints. We're not trying to make money on them. If somebody wants to do a donation, then it's just going back to making more masks. We just want people to be able to get them. If we can do it.
Okay. I've been on the support lines in the command center for the company that I work for that I really can't divulge out. And there's been numerous meetings and discussions and moving of product from this coast to that coast and all points in between. And we very early on decided that it was probably going to require us to telecommute and work remotely. And my department does that on a fairly consistent basis. So for us, it was just, oh, we're working from home tomorrow. Okay, I'll plug in my laptop tonight and push a button. So I've been almost in lockdown mode for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And it almost seems surreal that this great country is out of face masks.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I know it's happening, but I can't tell you how many times in a day I ask myself, is this really happening? Is this real? Or is it just, just some randomness? So here in,
I mean, talking about the entire model that works when everything's working, but we're seeing it not work when things aren't working.
yeah, I mean, hearing it from you guys that it's actually really affecting, and people that I know that it's affecting, it I don't know, it just kind of makes it a little bit more real than just something I've been watching on the news.
Yeah, well, I think we all get comfortable, and we just think that there's an unlimited supply of face masks or anything like that. Ventilators, they're talking about being short on, and even in like everyday life with ambulances, there's a certain number of them, and so with face masks or anything like that, when they're out, you just don't ever think that's a thing.
Right.
Running out of face masks or ventilators or whatever.
So one
Gowns
of the
and
things, like
face
with
shields.
the N95 masks at work, is that we have small percent required one. It's for very highly infectious diseases, like this one is, and so we didn't stockpile on hand. And our biggest thing was we had like 800 masks, and 4 of them were expiring. So now we have 400 expired masks, which will be if.
I didn't even know they expired.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's kind of a crazy thing to expire.
Do they lose their lemon scent? Like, what's the deal?
I'm guessing that it's a manufacturing thing, and if they can have some expiration date, they sell more.
Yeah, it might be a charcoal thing too. If they're charcoal loaded, they get moisture in them and they stop working.
That makes sense.
Okay.
It's crazy. Give me a care.
And I have to say, that's one thing about all the hammock vendors. Y'all are always helping out throughout the year with any and everything that you can. And it is greatly appreciated in the hammock community and outside of the hammock community.
Well, I mean, you guys...
I appreciate that, Mike.
Everybody that takes the time to run those groups and to reach out to us and to kind of give us the opportunity to meet people, like I can't tell you how many great friends I've made throughout that. So it's kind of tit for tat, I guess. I mean, we like to help you guys, but you guys help us, and like this is how we meet our friends. This is how we build our community and our friends. And so I appreciate you saying that you appreciate it, but just know that we appreciate it just as much.
Yeah. For me personally, going to that first hammock hang literally changed my life. I was on hammock forums before it was hammock forums. So I was on White Blaze.
David, a good point there is, with these vendors, we don't just look at just friends. There are we with, they're our community, and that's what Dave said, and we're always down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And speaking of it being a community, it occurred to me at our last hang back in February, we really go through it all with each other, from deaths to cars breaking down on long road trips, trying to get out of state to hangs, to just whatever you can think of. And somehow or another, somebody in the community always steps up and comes through to save whoever is needing that hug or that help changing that tire or getting the car to a shop or whatever.
Yep.
It's truly amazing.
Yeah, it's family all the way around.
And like with us and the Jacks guys, we met at the Lobster Lighthouse hang 3 years ago, probably. And we both our companies make quilts, but like we've hit it off and become friends through this. That's another cool thing about this community is everybody just gets along, comes together. These hangs are for everybody, and we have so much fun at them. Like before we go to a hang, we're always contacting them, going, "Y'all gonna be there?" Because we're so excited to get to spend the weekend with them or whatever, and we have a great time with each other. It's just a cool community.
Yep. No, I mean, for me, one of my bucket list hammock experiences was last year at Trail Days, sitting around the fire with you four and Dutch and Alex and Peter Pan and Smee, learning about scotch and
man, that was a great night.
Creamsicles.
That was a great night.
That was
a great night. I was looking forward to it again this year.
Yeah, I was too. I was going to drag Mike along.
We should all just go to the gorge and hang out for a weekend.
Come on.
That sounds pretty amazing.
Come on, I'm going tomorrow.
If me and Richard can get away from the ambulance by then,
I'm pretty sure there'll be an ambulance there tomorrow. He's down here.
You went on a search and rescue mission.
Yeah. We're gonna go find Link.
I hear sirens now.
Yep.
That's me. Sorry.
There's a campulance. I think is the.
Yeah.
The campulance.
Yeah. Hey, if you don't look close enough, it looks like an ambulance. But yeah, it's a campulance.
I got a question for you guys. How many times have y'all?
When he got that thing, he called me and he said he was asking me. He says,
"What's that, Mike?
What?
Go ahead, Warren.
What were we saying,
Mike?"
I was asking, how many times have y'all upgraded shop sizes?
We've upgraded once in 2 years already.
3.
We're on
kitchen, bathroom.
It was kitchen. It was kitchen.
Of size. So we started in my kitchen and living bathroom and living room. Yeah, that's where we started. And
that's the truth.
I started really getting hit for it. Me and Richard be in a hurry, like clear stuff off so my kids could eat dinner and all. So I had a shed on my house, which was a little bit more room, and then now we're in our shop. We're in now a bit more room on our second side upgrade.
Yeah,
but I don't think either of us are huge. I mean,
it's really amazing.
We're running somewhere like 2,500.
Yeah. The Jack started in Jack's bathroom 15 years ago.
Okay.
So bathrooms are a trend for quilt companies.
Absolutely.
Well, you got to have some place to corral that
the sauna and the steam room.
Oh, they have the sauna too. And they stuffed in a bathtub.
Yeah. You should have seen Warren's living room a couple times when we stuffed. I thought his wife is the most patient lady in the world. Like, we had down all over the place. And the kitchen table, the kids, at 4:00, we'd start putting stuff up. We had to take the sewing machine off the kitchen table. We had to put everything up so that they could have dinner there. We had quilts laid out, taped on the kitchen floor, and marking them. It was kind of ridiculous. When we got the new shop, we thought there's no way we'll ever need anything bigger than this. And within 2 months, we're like stumbling over each other and tripping and all that stuff. It's been an unbelievable journey in growth.
Funny story.
When
we got our new shop in the winter times, Tennessee gets pretty cold. We don't get northeast cold, but we still drop down pretty cold.
Where?
But we were running up our shop like looks like a little stovepipe type thing, and it flames inside of it. Richard wears shorts and Crocs 24/7, 365 days a year. And so we're in there showing one day, and I was like, man, I smell something burning. And his damn shorts had done melted to the heater.
I was on fire.
Wait, Don Corky's my dad.
Yeah.
That heater.
The same thing. Yeah. And that same heater put my dad in the hospital for 3-4 days in the burn unit. Same thing. He melted the sand. You're lucky.
That would have been horrible.
It was the funny thing is my dad's telling me this story. He's like, I lit my ass on fire, blah 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 blah. And he's like, he's rolling around in the garage to put himself out and chasing down the floaters to not light the house on fire. Yeah, watch your ass on that thing, man.
The thing about that heater would, this shop we were in really wasn't insulated. The walls were insulated, and about half the roof was insulated, and none of the floor was insulated. So this thing would kick out so much heat. Mm-hmm. And within 5 minutes, the whole shop would be hot from the waist up. You'd be sweating, and your feet be freezing. It was the weirdest feeling in the world. You could never get adjusted.
That concrete floor just seeping up the cold.
And we had industrial sewing machines in there, and they'd shake the walls of the.
You can't call for a camera, Corky.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, I need to put a mask on, don't I?
You better.
Go get one.
Corona.
That's why I drink whiskey.
Exactly.
It's medicine for my insides.
It's medicinal.
It's medicinal.
Oh, man.
So have we already discussed what everybody's drinking tonight then?
Yeah.
Kind of. What are you at?
That was first 5 minutes.
Do we need to do recap? I got to handle it.
Oh, man.
I'm being cheap.
Larson needs some pretty good stuff, Pickl.
Yeah, well, don't get the wheated bourbon. Get the regular bourbon. Don't get the wheated stuff. It tastes like grass.
Wait,
and not the good grass.
I got a Pickl. Did you get the gluten-free liquor? It's a small batch because nobody's gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Well, I had a throwback to the Jacks from just a few months ago with the new Belgium 1554.
Oh, that's a good one.
The tour out there. That's a pretty good one.
I was saying before you got here, so I got the Basil Hayden because I first had the first week I met you guys.
Dude, I love that. It's a little low gravity, low proof, but it's a great whiskey.
Is Warren frozen, or is he just being really?
It's really drunk.
He's almost asleep.
I've seen that look in Nashville a couple times.
Exactly.
He got off the ambulance this morning, so
oh man,
he's been up a long time.
Oh man.
So we need to, once all this stuff is done, we need to rally up. I mean, I was even looking at there's a brewery in Virginia where they have a campground on site.
Small batch gluten-free bourbon.
He's like
behind.
5 minutes behind.
Right.
That's a lag, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lag. Where is this Virginia campground?
It's right off the Blue Ridge Parkway near Winter Garden.
Okay.
Devil's Backbone. They do a lot for the.
On the backbone.
Yeah, that they for about I don't know maybe 5 years now. They shuttle hikers off the trail, feed them, get them drunk, let them camp in the yard, and then drive them back up to the trail. So they're very pro AT.
That's awesome.
They opened up the campground last year, and I've been in contact on and off with the manager. You're back.
Yeah.
Is that Wild Run?
No, this is actually Devil's Backbone has their own campground, like right there now. Like on-prem, they got their beer garden. I recently heard back from a person I asked like a year ago about, hammock camping. They got hammock camping set up now in the woods, and it's really cheap too. Like a lot more affordable than some campgrounds you see these days. But maybe we can make our own little trail days where we don't sell anything. We just all get together and get drunk.
I like that idea.
I already told Crystal from Dutchware about it, and she's like, "Cool, I'll get Dutch to pay for it."
Yeah, perfect. Never perfect. Never
happened. Yeah, it's exactly 3.5 hours for me. It would take me an hour to bypass to pick up Mike, so we're looking about 4.5 hours there.
Yeah, we're looking about 7, I think.
For us, it would probably, if we drove straight through, it'd probably be like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, but we would have a definite layover in Asheville with the Jax guys.
We're gonna have to come past where we're gonna camp, go to Asheville.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. That map will definitely
work. That will work perfectly fine.
I know for a fact they'll do it.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, why don't we just go to Asheville?
That's true. We've actually talked about a hang between the Don and Dave and Warren and I with Cedar Ridge and Jax Are Better, and doing like a craft beer hammock hang and doing a beer swap and stuff like that, just like a regular hang, but just kind of have craft breweries out there and stuff. Which Asheville would be the perfect place for that. And it's right off the AT, so you could get the AT hikers through there and all that. We've talked about it for years. The problem is we're kind of busy with the quilts.
Yep. Richard and I have been trying to figure out who can win the FKT for Asheville. Who can hit every brewery in Asheville the fastest. But
Randall's making up some stickers that are the Asheville through hike stickers for cars.
I want one.
Yeah,
I want one. Well, we are right at an hour, guys. I wish this would have rock and rolled. As far as I'm concerned, we can keep on keeping on, or we can let you guys go.
I'm happy to keep chatting.
All right. We are into the second half. Give it about a 5-minute break if anybody needs to refill.
Refill and empty.
Refill and empty.
Refilling as we go.
I'm the public bathroom that goes to the bathroom in the middle of everything. Shut the door, at least, right?
Yeah. At least you shut the door. At least you didn't take the laptop with
and we
you
appreciate that.
to the bathroom, and that we greatly appreciate.
I'm looking out for all y'all.
So, second half, we're gonna open the forum up to anybody that's in the chat, hanging out and watching. If you've got any questions, please throw them out. I'm sure we'll be able to get to them. I'd be happy to let others into the broadcast, but Streamlabs support. You're coming in. Warren, are you on a Wi-Fi or are you just on cellular?
You know, it's weird. It's like we're getting the audio from his from the birds and everything.
Yeah, so the audio lag's going from his phone to his earbuds. That's where the audio lag is.
Oh, okay.
And with the way that Streamlabs works, we are all uploading simultaneously to their servers. So I believe any lagging is on that individual's lab.
I check my. That seems to be right.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Yeah, now we can hear you good.
All right. I'm going to eat some chips. I'm going to go on mute.
Where'd Richard go? He's getting a magic trick?
Yeah.
I'm taking a breathing treatment. You want me to show you a magic trick while I'm here?
I want to see a magic trick during this intermission.
Second. If he wants to do a magic trick, hold on. Let me get somebody. Hey, Coltrane. Mr. Richard's doing a magic trick. Get on over here.
I'm taking a breathing treatment.
That's a breathing treatment right there.
All right, let me see if I can get it where you can see it. Can you see that? Can you see the coin?
Yeah.
All right. Is Coltrane in there?
It's right here.
Yeah. Oh, I see him now. All right. Oh, yeah. Is it in between my fingers?
No, your fingers are off the screen.
You dropped it.
Oh, man.
Finger.
It's probably not the best on that. I got another one. Hang on.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know, Richard is a world-renowned magician. His tricks get better the more inebriated you become.
And he becomes.
Oh, and he becomes as well.
All right, Coltrane, I'm going to need your help on this one, okay? I'm going to rifle through these cards. So we're just going to go like this right here. And you're going to tell me when to stop, okay? So it's not going to be, when you stop me, it's not going to be the card that's on top that I can see. It's going to be the one that's on bottom that I can't see because I want it to be completely random, okay? So you're going to stop me. You're going to stop me at the 5 of hearts, okay? So Coltrane, tell me when to stop.
Yeah, you can take it off.
Yeah. Try this. All right, tell me when to stop. Never mind. All right, here we go. Tell me when to stop. All right, right there. So the top one is the 10. The top one is the 10 of spades, and the one on the bottom is what? Is that the 5 of hearts?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good job. You did good, Coltrane. And try it again. This time you tell me. Okay. So you'll stop me. Oops. You'll stop me at the 4 of clubs.
He can't hear you. That's right.
Oh, okay. All right, Coltrane. All right, Coltrane. So you're going to tell me when to stop, okay? You're going to stop me at the 4 of clubs, okay?
That's real
so
good.
Tell me when to stop.
Right?
Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Coltrane.
Stop.
All right, right there. So that's the King of Hearts right there. What's that?
The 4 of hearts. The clover.
4 clubs. 4 clubs. Exactly where you're supposed to stop me. You're a pretty good magician.
All right, buddy. Get out of here.
All right.
Am I back?
My favorite trick I seen Richard do was
You're
flip the
back.
picnic table.
I'm good at that.
Shut the door, buddy.
All right, Derek, our buddy Mr. Greenfield, who just seems like he wins all the Tar Heel State Hangers raffles, wants to know, ask Corkin about the damage we did to Sugarland Shine when they showed up at HangCon and how many magic tricks he screwed up. Brother, you showed up at the return of Sugarland Shine. I don't even know how they possibly showed up after the damage that was done the year before.
I think if I remember right, it was 47 cases of moonshine that they brought with them.
What?
So I didn't do a lot. I'm not too big on like I call it cheerleader shine, like the sweetened moonshine and stuff. But I don't know how many fifths of really good whiskey we went through. We had Eagle Rare, we had Elijah Craig, we had Buffalo Trace.
Wow.
Dang.
I mean, we had and our campsite there was the spot for whiskey lovers. Watch the fight. Watch the Conor McGregor fight at the campsite. We had a really nice little spot there, and there was some. I definitely did put down a little bit of shine, but I was making old fashions, and they were going down really, really good.
Was this last year or this year?
This year.
Oh, okay. So you get sweaty every year in your campsite.
Dude, there wasn't a picnic table flip this year, but oh my gosh,
that was honestly when I knew I really liked you. When that picnic table went down, I was like, "He's my man."
dude. Well, but I mean, I still don't remember from the last, not this year's, last year's. People were saying something about a leprechaun or something, and I don't have a clue what they're talking about. But apparently, I said something about one at some point.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
We got pictures. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that was supposed to became a shirt.
Was it? There have been shirts made.
Yeah, that's all my fault though. That's a one there.
Yeah, friends don't light their friends on fire.
Hey, yeah, speaking of setting people on fire.
I didn't light Grandma on fire. I melted his pants.
While he was in them.
You're right. He was in them. How many times did Dave fall?
I don't know. Glenn was worried though. Like your friend can't stand up.
Wait, who was that?
Dave says, I lost my legs.
Glenn and I literally walk, like we're doing loops back to our hammocks. We take 2 steps forward and then like do a weird lean and spin around and then like keep going forward again. We bonded in circle loops and grits. We're good.
Well, I got to tell you, Glenn has helped me out there in this whole shut-in. I've still got a good 10 pounds of grits from him. Loving them.
Yep. The Tar Heel guys, the Palmetto State guys, you guys are, I'll go out and say it, you guys are the 2 best groups around.
We appreciate it.
100%. Yeah, I still need to get out to a Tar Heel hang. I've been wanting to, and like every time I try to get to one, something ends up coming up. I mean, I love those guys. I love Mike, man. Me and Mike have hit it off, and I really want to come out to a hang with them. It's just been bad luck for me on getting out there, and I hate it.
What do you guys think will be the next hang that might actually happen?
I am really hoping we were able to pull Thanksgiving off.
That's one I want to come to.
So not till November?
Yeah, that's not till November.
We try to have one in August, but it's usually so hot here in the Carolinas, and there's not a single solitary state park in North Carolina that's got drive-up parking, a shelter house, and group camping trees that's in the western part of the state.
Wow.
You know, there's only... Go ahead, Mike.
Statesville's the furthest one west.
Yeah.
And that's on Interstate 77.
Mm-hmm. Which is smack dab in the middle of the state. So
nothing up along the Blue Ridge or anything where it might be a little bit cooler at elevation.
Now there's plenty of places to camp, but no group campsites that don't require a little bit of hiking, that have a on-site bathhouse or toilet and have on-site parking. You know, you want to come down, we can go throw down in the gorge, we can go throw down in Pisgah, down in Brevard. Yeah. There's tons of places to camp. We can head up Max Patch up on the AT. There's tons of places to camp, but you know, for those group sites, for the vendors, for the ease of the vendors, for the ease of people coming from out of state, we want to be able to set up to where you can sit, you can pull up, park, and then walk to your trees.
You know,
we want no age or health condition being able to come. If you can get to the parking lot, we can get you between 2 trees.
Yeah.
For sure. One thing on the vendor thing is, you know, obviously some of the hangs are great. We need to get our product out there. We need for people to touch our stuff. You know, somebody's spending a lot of money with you, and they want to be able to touch it. But sometimes it's nice to just hang and forget about that and just hang out with friends.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's still going to talk about stuff, but sometimes it's just nice not to be Cedar Ridge. Just sometimes it's nice just to be a hanger.
Yep, totally agree.
And get out and get away from it. And that's a relief for us because we, with cottage vendors, with any small business, we spend our lives doing it. There's so much work that goes into it, beyond business hours. And so when we can get out to a place and just go, we're not Cedar Ridge, we're hammock hangers, and we want to hang out and have a good time with all you. And that's just, sometimes that's what we need because it's just a relief from everything every day.
Now, I know you guys are all friends, and I've known this for a while, and I know you guys are also direct competitors, and that's quite obvious as well. So, I mean, there's times when I've seen, Warren and Richard with Jack's Are Better hats on, Dave and Don with Cedar Ridge t-shirts on. See, here it comes.
This.
Here it comes. Look at this.
God.
See?
Look how much prettier he just got.
I need to go run to the other house and get that hat, man.
See, I knew it was going to happen at some point. So my question to you is, all right, we're all sitting around a campfire, and I'm a new hanger. And, Clown's to the left of me and Jack's to the right of me. Here I am stuck in the middle. So how does that work?
I had a lady email me the other day. She said, I'm contemplating a quilt, and it's between you and Jack's Are Better. And I was like, those guys suck. Like their product.
But we're prettier. We're way prettier.
I told her.
Look at you.
That doesn't fit.
I told her. I said, look. I said, and I say this about a lot of cottage vendors. We both make great products. You can't go wrong with either of our products. Now, when you said we're direct competitors, I kind of think we're a little different. We will always have a lead time. Our stuff's custom made, and we don't start it till you order. And so there's always a lead time with our stuff. But if you want a yellow quilt with purple stitching and all that stuff, and you want it to be 84 inches wide, we can do that. And the Jacks, who make an equally well built quilt, they can have your quilt to you in 2 days. So I feel like we're not competitors in that respect. We're a little different in that. We both make quilts, but our companies are different companies.
Difference between the two of us and where we try and kind of tread a little bit differently. Like we have ready to ship quilts. If you want something specific, you can call us and we'll talk to you, and we might say, like, go to Cedar Ridge because those guys do it better than us. They'll turn it around faster, or we'll do it for you. But I think one of the coolest things about the majority of this kind of community, I keep saying that word and whatever, but like we have some, like we all fall in our spots. We all kind of try and play nicely with each other, and we respect each other because we're all friends. We're all, I think for all of us, our main goal, like we all could probably make more money somewhere else. That's not why we're doing it, right?
Yep,
like,
totally agree.
Holy shit, man!
Video Corky's laugh. Like I do this. I think Don does this because we love it, and Corky and Warren too. Is like we want to provide a way for more people to go outside.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I care about. If more
the
people
lady the lady that emailed me, she said, "Well, I've got a trip in a week," and so she ended up getting a Jack's Are Better quilt. There's no way I could have helped her, and
right.
and even like if you look at posts when somebody asks about the quality of a Jack's Are Better quilt, and the same way with us, you look at a Cedar Ridge ask, you'll see them comment on our stuff that we've got great stuff, and you'll see us comment on their stuff that they've got great stuff. There's no way me or Warren, either one, would take anything away from those guys.
No.
And we're not trying to blow up anything. You know, we're not trying to get on there and go, hey, look at our stuff. If somebody says, what do you think about a Jack's or Better quilt? Well, we love their quilts. They make awesome stuff. We love our quilts too, but I'm not going to take away what they do. They make awesome stuff. You know, I think that I think a lot of businesses might not be like that, but when you're talking about cottage vendors and this community of backpackers and campers and stuff, it's a tight knit group, and us and the Jack's guys, Don and Dave, we've become real friends, not just acquaintances or whatever. I really consider them friends, and I look forward to getting to spend time with them at a hang, or if we have a layover before a hang in Asheville or after a hang in Asheville or wherever. If we can get together, I'm all for it. And I know that it's going to be a good time. And like the weeks leading up to it, I'm excited. It's always
that layover in Asheville, man. Mike and I missed y'all by 2 days.
I'm so sad you guys didn't come. It would have been fun. I have to say, like, for just in general, this whole group, like the whole hammocking thing and all that, like everybody's got everybody's back for the most part.
I do think
certainly have outliers, but as a whole, like this is what's great about this whole thing. Is like people will help each other out, people gear you up with stuff. It's like to tie it into like the gun community. I don't think there's a parallel where like you can go in and be like, I want to learn how to like shoot shotgun. I want to learn how to do trap and skeet and all that. Mm-hmm. Where you can just wander in and be like, hey, like walk on the internet and go like, hey, I'd like some help. And there's an avalanche of people that are willing to help you. Like, it's kind of a really odd thing in this world right now. Where you just
it's amazing.
People gear you out like that.
Yeah, they'll let you borrow stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah. I want to try this out, and I don't have anything. Can somebody help? And here's $1,000 worth of gear at my feet 10 minutes later.
Yeah. Mail it. They'll mail it to you sometimes. They go, just mail it back when you're done. They've never met.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm here today. I mean, I met the Jacks at the fall Maha. Before the spring, they posted on Hammock forums, hey, we're going to do a long hike in. Anybody want to go? At the time, I had a lot more vacation time than my wife. So I said, I'm in. I hop on a train, end up in Harper's Ferry, meet Jack at the visitor center. Somebody else from Hammock Forums drives us down to Shenandoah, and we hike back. And like, what type of community would you do that? I remember telling coworkers, I'm taking a train to meet some stranger in the woods and hang out for a week. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you don't get that in other communities.
I'm gonna meet a bunch of rednecks in the woods for a hang.
Yeah.
And really,
and they'll be friends for life.
It's kind of how I met Mike. So I was new into hammock camping, had not really done it, had a little bit of gear, and I mean, I had a half-wit from Dutch and a Kelton Nose Tarp 12. That's where I was in the evolution. And guy named Coop, said, hey, a bunch of us are going camping this weekend. You should come out. And long story short, I ended up hiking into the woods after dark with some guy named Coop that had 2 dogs he was screaming at the entire way. He was carrying enough bushcraft gear and cast iron pots off his pack to make Samwise Gamgee jealous. And, sitting around the campfire the next morning, in traipses Mike, not on the trail. Mike just decided he wanted to walk through the woods, took a compass bearing, and voila.
Yeah, it's a crazy place. It's a crazy space.
All right, who's got the feedback? Is that Corky?
I think it's Dave.
It's got to be me. I just said it's not me. It's got to be me.
No, I think it got up and Corky walked away.
Yeah.
He might have a speaker on. Can you mute him till he gets back?
Let's see. Yeah, we can mute him. There, now try it.
Yep.
That was
Corky's
Corky.
the problem as usual.
Corky's a problem child.
Gosh.
My internet crapped out, but I'm watching on YouTube. All right, Warren's has switched to the tubes of views to watch. Let's see. Welcome, Dosey. Glad you can make it. Dave Moose is here. Quick shout out to Mr. Jeff Chris, the publisher of Gear-Report.com. Let's see. Hey, John Rammel's in, wanting to advertise his Harvest Hang, happening regardless. You know, that might be a trip that you guys might want to think about. There you go. He had his earbuds in, and his earbuds were next to each other. Thanks, Corky. Next time, don't sit your earbuds right next to each other. All right. So, yeah, you might want to think about hitting up John Rammel's Harvest Hang out in Bellbrook, Ohio. It's just southeast of Dayton, Ohio. He is of like mind with the rest of us.
Cool.
So,
hey, like I said earlier, we got a lot more trips to do this year since everything this spring's been canceled.
Yep, everything this spring's been canceled.
That means more motorcycle time, motorcycle camping time, as much as possible. That'll be good.
Hey, are you guys putting a bug net on that James River?
You're like the 100th person to ask.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So the whole concept.
It gets real weird now.
So the whole concept. I've been in a Bear Mountain Bridge since 2008.
Okay.
Never had the shoulder squeeze issue. Never had any issue. 2 pounds, 5 ounces. When we bought the company, like, let's make something lighter. So literally the first week, and Dave and I are in the shop, we literally went and cut apart a Bear Mountain Bridge and said, well, shit, this isn't going to work. And that trying to change what we had ended up in a whole new build. Took about a year. I mean, I think about 12 different prototypes, and we just wanted completely Spartan. You know, get rid of everything we could, make it as lightweight as possible. And we came in just over a pound, and that's wood spreader bars. Figured most hammocks don't have a bug net anyway, so I didn't bother making one. Well, the number one question we've had is, hey, you gonna make a bug net for it? So every time we've tried to make a modular one, it's either too heavy, it's not durable enough, it's not professional enough. It looks like something that was, somebody did in their bedroom, not a product that we're willing to sell.
Right. No.
And it's just one of the things, like, we've looked at it. We even talked about maybe making a second version of the James River Bridge with the with one sewn into it, but there's not really that much interest in hammocks in general. As far as there's a lot of DIY community, and like it's bridges. Like bridges are a thing that's not a big. It's a niche of a niche of a niche.
Okay.
So, but when we get around to it, absolutely want to do it. The problem is everything else crowds it out.
Okay.
It's hard. I'm sorry. Like I bounced out a little bit. I missed what it says, but like you throw a zipper in there and then you add the weight. And so like the trade-off is hard.
You add the weight, you add the complexity, you add the cost.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm the dummy that hikes New Jersey in like June, July, and August with no bug net. So maybe we're the wrong people for a bug net.
Yeah, I mean, down here in the Carolinas, June, July, and August, I'd get carried away. I'm 6 foot, 200 pounds, and I got that Wraith hammock from Trailheads this past winter, and the first thing I saw when I laid in it was, this thing's great. Said 20,000 mosquitoes, because you could see right through it, and I know they're going to have a field day.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I remember having that in my old my Hennessy Deluxe. If I didn't have my underquilt on, they could sting right through that.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I think there's two different modes that I go out in. One's just 10, and the other's like doing miles. If I'm doing hang,
And you froze.
And now he's pulling a Warren.
And now he's pulling a Warren.
Sorry, Warren. Love you. Miss you.
So have any of you guys flipped over your hammock trying to get into it?
I actually got a story about that. Not getting into it, but my very first weekend out in a hammock. And at the time, I bought one for my wife too, because buy two of everything. That way she doesn't get mad. We got out for a weekend hike, and I wake up in the morning here, hey, need a little help. I look over, and she was in her old Hennessy backpacker ultralight. She flipped it upside down. The underquilt was still underneath her. The side tie-outs were still staked, and her hands reaching out the slit up towards the sky. So she didn't flip it getting out. She didn't flip it getting in. She flipped it during the middle of the night and didn't fall out. So all of her weight was on that bug net, and it didn't tear. So still impressed with the build quality of that Hennessy. But still haven't gone back to ground since. And that was 2005.
There's Dave back.
We got Dave. We got Warren.
sorry there.
Wait, I think
Is Coltrane there? I can't see him. He's
Yep. He's camouflaged.
Hey, Richard, turn to your left. We can do the Brady Bunch.
What's up, big
No,
Cole?
your other. Go to your
Your
right.
other left.
Go the other way. We're doing the Brady
Go
Bunch.
the other way.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, Dave, look up.
back.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
What are we doing? Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Coltrane, what quilt do you have there?
Hey, Coltrane, Mr. Dave wants to know what quilt you have here. You're in a
Is that a
no, you're in a
Sniffler?
Shenandoah. You got a Shenandoah.
It's a Shenandoah.
Alright.
I got one of those upstairs.
You got a special one.
What?
Blue and really light.
No, it's Moroccan blue and black.
Yeah, isn't it really, really light?
Yeah, it is. It
yeah,
is
you got the
really light.
906.7.
Yeah, it is really light. We are sub a pound on that one.
Yeah, 11. I think yours is 11.3
Wait.
ounces. What's his question for Corkin? I see Corkin offers quilt cuddles to people all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd that
Cuddles.
go?
Wait, where are these questions? I want this.
Just to Don and Dave.
How do I not even see this?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch.
you're so
There's a lot of
sneaky, man.
Corkin abuse here. I'm digging it.
I
There you
think because is Corkin's internet famous?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My earbuds, I don't know if the battery died or if I'm sure it's probably something.
It's
They're like
I'm
that.
sorry,
Put them in the opposite ears. They'll work better.
and it is kind of awesome. No, that's, if someone is willing to make you something that will save your life and cuddle with you, you need to take them up on it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think
come
the
on.
true way to test a 12 stamp rating is to cuddle in it.
Oh,
Right?
no,
I mean,
well,
we can all agree on that, right?
no. It's just that's like a safety rating.
Yeah, okay.
The
yeah.
Corky safety rating.
Right.
So like you can have like a 10-degree quilt, but it's like a 35-degree Corky safety rate.
Ah, is that what that is? Okay.
I think so. I think that's how it works. Look at him. He's hot. He's putting off some steam.
He's got Crocs on too right now. You know it.
I've got Crocs on right now.
All right, Jeff Chris said, I roll around when I sleep. If I don't have a bug net,
Wait.
my top quilt will be
I thought
on the
even
ground
mine-
every time.
Yeah,
So
I've definitely had my top quilt fall out of the hammock
What?
before, and my pillow.
Oh, Jeff, you like snap around the top of your head, buddy. Like
yeah.
that will probably help.
he's also 6'4", 6'5".
I'm like he's right in my wheelhouse.
That's
I'm the
right. You
same
guys,
way.
you guys are both
I spin
gangly.
a lot. Yeah. if you can get like a cam snap at the top behind your neck, you might twist up on it a little bit,
Okay.
but it won't go out your hammock.
Yeah, before you go to sleep, if you can cam snap it behind your neck, pull the draw cord taut, it'll make a little pocket around your shoulders. That'll help keep it out. Between that and snapping your foot box, it's going to keep you from kicking it out too. Unless you get too hot, then if you're getting too hot, you might just go and pop it off intentionally.
Okay. So, Cedar Ridge Outdoor wants to know why Richard's not modeling their quilts.
It's gonna get hot in here.
So take off all your quilts? What?
Here he comes.
Oh, there we go. There's some of that prom.
See something you like, fellas?
What is?
Where'd your quilt go? Do your job. You got one job.
Hey, speaking of the cam snaps, that's exactly what they were talking about. So cinched up just a little bit. Put it around your head.
What's the temperature rating on that?
There's really no way
the
for
quilt
the
looks
quilt
like it's
to-
about 60 degrees below zero.
Yeah, it's a thick one.
Here you go, buddy.
What pattern is that?
It's one of the prime ones. Hey, Corky, what pattern's that?
That is a prime one. I think that may be multi-purpose prime one. I don't know. I think that's multi-purpose. I've got a snow one. I can't remember all the prime one colors.
It looked like MP. I just couldn't get a good look at it. The way the lighting was on it.
Yeah.
Warren says
maybe this will be easier to see.
Coltrane, what you sporting over there?
Coltrane, what quilt do you got on?
What about that?
He's got a Shenandoah in cedar green.
Uh-oh. A cedar green Shenandoah.
That is our old color that we can't get that fabric anymore, unfortunately.
Limited edition, folks. When they're out, they're out.
It's going to be hard to drink.
Try harder.
I don't want to spill on this thing.
I don't want to spill it on the quilt. Mike would take it. It'll match his tarp.
All right, I'm starting to sweat.
All right.
Maybe you missed it down at Hangin when you was hanging with the D-list celebrities. They had a sexy cloak wear quilt. I wanted that thing bad.
Yeah, that was the D-list celebrity trip that took me out to Vegas while y'all were hanging out around the campfire in HangCon 2019.
So we were just talking about the next hang and stuff. Like, is there somewhere? I mean, with people watching this or something, like, is there a way we can get a central type hang that, like, we can make it a huge hang with, all these people and everybody get together and just have a good time?
I'm sure we could figure something out. I'd have to look at the maps. That would be something a little bit. I'd think that it'd be somewhere in the Kentucky, Ohio area. In Southwest Ohio, I know a pretty nice spread that can really hold some hangers, and we wouldn't have to worry about state parks and regulations and such.
I like it.
There's plenty of firewood on site. The fire pit is, last I saw through pictures, what do you think, Mike? About 16 foot in diameter?
Probably something like that. And there is a cook shelter going up also.
Yep.
Hold on, I'll tell you approximately what size that shelter is.
what did they say? It was like 25 feet by 25 feet.
Well, I just, there's a couple of goals I have this year. I really would like to get to Thanksgiving. I want to get down to Texas for their hang. We've got people flying from Texas and Michigan, Justin and all that to HangCon, but I'd like to get to them this year. Randall, my buddy Randall, wants to go to Lobster Lighthouse, and that was a great hang. It's just so far away.
Yeah,
It is
a good hang.
It's a haul.
They make a great motorcycle.
And I love all the PSH hangs. I'm sure I'd love the Terrapin hangs. I love those guys. So there's no doubt that would be, definitely a hang. Any hang that they have, I want to get to. But so my goals this year is I want to get to a Tar Heel hang. I want to get to Texas. And those are two that I haven't been to. So, I really want to get those involved into our rotation of hangs. It's just so hard. We've only got so much time we can get to, different things, Pickl's house. Hey, man, I'm on my way.
Yeah, come on, bring a stand because I ain't got no trees in the backyard.
We'll put some eye bolts in the wall.
I got a German Shepherd to keep you all nice and snugly warm, but I ain't got no trees.
I'll snuggle with the dog.
Go on, Boudreaux. Getting hair on my head, making me heavier.
Boudreaux.
Puppy time.
I think he's sleeping. There he is. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on.
Aw.
Yeah.
I am, with all this going on, it really does suck because, trail days last year, that was one of the best times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pickle that you were talking about, sitting around, just with the original Jacks. That was my first time meeting them. That was my only time meeting them, and one of the best Scotch tasting experiences of my life. I'm not a Scotch drinker.
I'm still not a Scotch drinker, but it was interesting.
And Dutch and all that. And then us and Don and Dave. That was a great night. One that like you said, a bucket list type deal. That's exactly what it was.
If you guys had to recommend one temperature rated quilt for year round, what temperature rated quilt would you recommend?
20 degree.
For year round, I would go with a 0 degree bottom, 20 degree top. And get the widest 20 degree top you could, because then you can go and cheat. It's got that 0 underneath you. Get a really wide 20 degree, and you can fold it in on itself, so you get a double layer quilt on top. That'd probably stretch you out the longest.
I think maybe being from the South versus Pennsylvania, 20 degree is, and just in my experience, 20 degrees about as cold as most people go down to camping. I mean, there's definitely extreme people or whatever, but to me, a 20 degree with a snap and drawstring where you can open it up in warmer weather, and just for me, I don't think most people go down below 20 degree very often. If they do, they can put on base layers and get down, a little bit lower.
Yeah, the top quilt's the hardest part because you can get away with a 0 degree quilt all year long. I mean, for years, Mount Washington 4 was the only quilt I had, and it wasn't until like the high 80s and humid then I'd go and open up those draw cords, drop it down a little bit. But I use that all year long. Meanwhile, the top quilt I swap out, 40, 20, 0, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah, go ahead and go with your lowest temperature rating. If you're just wanting to get one, you can vent it. An underquilt's isn't going to burn you up. It's just going to keep you from getting cold.
Yep.
To me, but top quilts, it depends on where you are. If you're in Alaska, obviously 20 degrees is probably not your best 3-season quilt. But but I think 20 degrees are most popular, by far our most popular temperature.
Yep, us too. The thing I recommend when I get that call from people, what's the best way I can camp year round? And I always tell them your lowest number of quilts you could have would be 3. If you did get 3 quilts, you can get through the entire season. What we do is we sell our old rag, which is 0 degree, Hudson River 20, and a Shenandoah 40. And what you can do is in the middle of winter, throw the old rag underneath you, snap the Shenandoah and the Hudson River together as your top quilt, That's going to get you from like 0 up until about 30. Then you can go and leave the Shenandoah at home. And then as it gets warmer, go and flip the Hudson River underneath you, throw the Shenandoah on top of you, and leave the old rag at home. And when it gets really warm, put the Shenandoah underneath you and take a quilt liner with you. That way you can get away with 3 quilts in your closet, and that's going to serve you all year long.
I'm not going to lie. That Shenandoah, that 40-degree Shenandoah has worked as an underquilt down to 38, 37 degrees for me, and I'm a cold sleeper. And it's worked as a top quilt. In the summertime, it's worked as a only quilt when I've gone to ground on a tent trip. Mike remembers that tent trip. How cold was it, Mike?
On the through hike?
Yeah.
It was freezing in my hammock. That's what it was. He got, I think, low 50s, upper 40s.
I didn't even notice. I'd wake up in the morning and look at Mike like all hammockers do and say, well, how'd you sleep last night, with a big old smile on my face? And he's like, man, I was cold. I was cold all night. I was like, it wasn't that cold, was it?
No.
But
yeah, I was running a set of modified Costco quilts, and they just didn't do it for me.
Well,
I know a couple guys.
Good. Pickle, you're harsh.
Actually, I believe if Richard goes back and checks his messages, I hit him up after we got back from that trip, wanting to know about a low weight 40-degree set of quilts.
Yeah. So I personally, I run 2 sets. I've got a 0-degree Cedar Ridge Prime 1 Mahi camo underquilt that is big and fluffy and glorious. And because of my OCD, I've also got a Cedar Ridge Prime 1 Mahi 20-degree top quilt. And then in the summertime, the underquilt's the Shenandoah 40. And then I picked up last year at Trail Days, I picked up a one of those Backpacker Specials 50-degree top quilts. Those 4 quilts have me covered and warm throughout the year.
And light too.
And light there's no complaints on the weights on any of them.
Yeah, I mean you could cheat in the summer and go with your keep that 0-degree quilt all year long, but switching out to that 40, it's gonna save you a lot of weight when you don't need it.
Yep. I pretty much run 2 quilt sets. I've got 3/4 length, 30-degree, which I'm a warm sleeper. I've had it down into the 20s, and stayed warm. 3/4 length is good for me through most everything. And then I've got a cold weather set that's 20-degree. And my 3/4 length underquilt is that was one of the ways that we tested the up synthetic insulation, was we wanted to try it, and I've used it for about 3 years now. 2 years before we brought it to market, and so I love it, and so that's and we've made a couple for other people here and there and got feedback on it. But so I'm about to make myself a 20-degree. Coltrane, man, you are a rock star.
Coltrane is rocking it out.
That's Mr. Dave.
I think I'm about to make myself a 20-degree set just because people want to see what it's like. And it's great for hangs and short backpacking trips and stuff like that. So I think that's my next set that I'm going to make.
When I first started out, I started out with a 3/4 length underquilt, and it was a synthetic. And I felt the 3/4 length under my knees when I was in the hammock. Now this is first starting out. This was 3-4 years ago, and I just went full length from that point on out. So I think maybe it might be time to give 3/4 length a shot again.
Yeah, but back when the Jacks first came out with the Greylock, they gave me a Greylock. I was their head beta tester for years. A new product would come out, they'd send it to me to break or give them feedback. And the first Greylock was one baffle shorter, and I had the same problem. Like it just fell right at my knees. I just didn't like it. When they added the extra baffle, it was long enough where it went below my knees, so it's about half calf length now. And I think this is because the way the weight distribution is when you're weighting that hammock, and that one extra baffle changed the way it worked for me. It went from I think 7 up to 8, and that huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. Plus, something tells me the company that made mine, I would say not contoured. I think it was more of the standard, so one side inside out and the other side outside in, and so on, some apex, and then pull it out and stuff it together as like an envelope, and then close up that last side.
Yeah, it's hard. Like 3/4.
This is why I don't sew quilts.
3/4 quilts get weird, especially when you're longer. Like if your foot hits one of the suspension cords, and like you curl your little toe over it, it's gonna mess the whole thing up. Like there's a lot of little tweakiness. It's not hard, but you have to almost like, if you get one, set it up, have somebody else look while you're moving around.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Like, do your flipping around, do your turning, you're rolling, and like, okay, if I lean over here, and I put my weight here and I put my leg out sideways and I'm figure 4, oh, there's a big gap there. You save weight. It's fast. I love them. Sorry, I'm so used to playing with Cole right now. I want to tell him to floss and big goober.
Mr. Dave gets Cole riled up and gets him in trouble. That's his job.
Oh, is that it? Oh, is that
it?
Take a deep breath, R2D2.
But 3/4 take a little bit of. They're fussy. They save weight. I love them. I use one all the time. But you almost need somebody to like look at it while you're in it to tell you where you're messing it up, and then and then you're fine.
I agree. It's a 2-person deal, and I use mine 3 seasons. If it's going to be 20 or below, I'm not trying to use my 3/4 length. I'm going to go ahead and go with a full length. But 3 seasons for me is 20 degrees and up pretty much, and I'm not afraid to use it, at 25, 26 degrees. I've been there with it, but I'm a warm sleeper, and I've got it dialed in. Like I never change how it's set up at this point. So I know when I hang it that it's dialed in for me, and I'm going to stay warm, unless it gets extremely cold.
Yep. I think there's something to say, like right what Richard said right there is like he knows he's going to stay warm. Whether or not you're warm, if you know you're going to stay warm, you're good. Like there's a confidence level that makes everything so much better. If you're looking to be like, oh, what's going to be wrong? Am I going to be cold? You're going to find everything. It's going to get in your head, and it's going to keep you up at night.
Well,
and that's one thing about using your stuff. If you've used your stuff enough, you have confidence in certain things. Now, there may be sometimes you're like, I don't know, man.
Or you get that,
but you know that
phantom
cold.
cold.
Know the stuff that you've been in before.
You know that wintertime, you're getting into your rig, you're getting your outer layers off, you're getting down to your base layers, you're cold, you get in that hammock and you get under those quilts and you're instantly warm.
It's the best thing.
It's the best thing. And then 4 minutes later, when everything starts to equalize out and get, on level, you're just like, am I cold?
Do I have a cold spot in my hip?
Yeah.
Is there one
and then
little spot?
You start searching for that cold spot, and you're like, there's no cold spot, but I've got a cold spot.
Yeah.
And then you pass out, and it's okay.
Right.
To me, the best feeling is to me, there's something about waking up with it cold outside and you being in your hammock and you're just toasty warm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you wake up in the morning. The bad thing is when you got to pee.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you lay there and lay there and lay there until you're like, all right, well, it's either piss in the hammock or get up. You know, and that's the worst feeling is getting out of that hammock when it's 20 degrees and below. But to me, like just waking up and knowing how cold it is outside and knowing how warm you are inside, that's one of the best feelings in the world.
All right. I got another question, and before we move on to that next question, I just want to make an observation. We're all old enough to remember this, but doesn't Mr. Lau look like he's part of a 1990s rap music video album cover?
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Mr. Lau,
he's got. I don't know 90s. I'm saying like late 90s.
I mean,
early 2000s.
right there, you look at Onyx, some Onyx, some Cypress Hill. See? Yeah. That,
Very much.
There we go. All right, so let's see. Jeff Kress stated, he goes 3/4 length, pulls down off of my shoulders more than a full length.
Yeah. I've got the quilt that I use. My 3-season quilt is a 3/4 wide.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm laying, I'm not a tall guy.
On the wide.
So when I'm laying at my angle, a 3/4 length covers my shoulders, and at my angle, I'm going corner to corner. So it's very little of me that's sticking out past that 3/4 length.
Yeah, you're a little boy though.
It's different when he's 6'4". So there's a lot more of him sticking out.
Yeah.
So I think I'm 6'4". I think you cheat up on your shoulders and carry a little bit of extra pad underneath for your feet, and that's how to get over that. We're like being at 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", like we're kind of freaks.
You're definitely a freak.
You mean freak?
No, I've been saying that for a long time.
Here comes R2D2.
Just everything's too big for you. But if you're above, you got to kind of go like, okay, so I'm going to cheat up on my shoulders because I know I can keep my head warm by doing whatever I'm doing for my pillow kind of thing. Keep your shoulders straight and then just carry a little bit extra padding because I don't know how that guy's sleeping, but on the 3/4, most people are putting a foot pad underneath. Cut an extra 4 inches off your foot pad and stick that under your legs, and you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, and the key thing with that foot pad, what a lot of people don't realize, that foot pad, the main thing it's going to help is your heels, because usually you're going to have your foot box, and your foot box isn't going to get compressed by your legs or your calves. It's your heels, or your heels will get cold. So as long as you get them lofted up, that you're still going to get enough loft in your foot box. It's going to keep your from your knees down warm. So yeah, I always cheat towards my shoulders too. It's just that's why I want to keep warm. Get a good pillow back there.
Okay.
I want to talk to this guy. Does he sleep on his side or is he straight on his back? Because that gets a little weird.
He's Jeff is our publisher, so yeah, I can set that up.
Yeah, if he sleeps on his side, he's going to want a longer pad because your weight's on that end, that kind of like that crease there, and he'll get it. But I mean, you can get really silly and cut very specific shapes for yourself. Put it in there, get it in there, lay it down, and you'll be warm from there. But yeah, just cheat up on the high side for your shoulders, and then cut a pad underneath to keep you warm on your legs there.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can get the upper draw cord over your shoulder, it's not going to slip off. If you can get it up there, because that's going to hold it in place for you.
All right, another question coming in right here at the bottom of the hour, or at the top of the next hour. Dave Moose, Tar Heel State Hanger, wants to know.
Getting super excited.
Let me take
Watch
this one.
Hang on a second. Don, so wash your
I answer this all the time.
Wash that.
You want to wash your down. It's really, really important. but it's also very important to wash it correctly. Number one rule: do not use a top load washer. The agitator and top load washer will destroy your quilt.
Now, if you've got a top load washer that does not have an agitator,
Rumors has it will work. I've never tried it, so I'm not. I don't want to endorse it until I've tried it.
My hero. Yeah, buddy.
But you definitely want to wash them.
Did somebody ask a question? I don't know.
A couple real important tips: when you make sure you use downwash. Do not use detergent. Do not use a fabric softener. Normal detergent and fabric softener are designed to go and leave a residue behind. You leave a residue on down, it's going to prevent it from lofting. So definitely down specific.
Your dryer needs to be really low heat, if not no heat.
Yeah, and another thing with the washer, if you're doing it at home and you have a front load washer, go and pull the tray out that you put the detergent in. Wash that out really good. Yeah. If you can pull the plastic out, clean it, get all the detergent that you usually have out of there as much as possible. Get that really, really clean. Wash it with a down wash. I recommend washing it once, then running it through a rinse to get the rest of that off. Throw it in your washer. The one thing I've noticed with the hydrophobic down, if you're using a treated down, you don't have to do much at the dryer stage. The dryer stage, use it low. You don't need tennis balls. You don't need to pluck the down apart. A cycle and a half to 2 cycles will probably get you dry. If you're using untreated down, then you want to go and throw some tennis balls in there, a pair of shoes, those things that Richard just showed. You're probably going to take 3 to 4 cycles, and it's a good move every half hour. Go and pluck the down apart. It will clump out, but really make sure it's dry because it will feel dry at first, but it's not fully dry. Like when you think it's dry, run it for another half hour, because if not, you'll notice it next time you go out, you'll find clumps, and that stuff will hold moisture, the non-treated down especially. But yeah, washing is very, very important.
Yeah. And, even without washing, if you've stored it for, you made a mistake, you went on a backpacking trip and it's been stored compressed or something, you can do that same type of treatment with the dryer.
Yep. And
break everything up and get that quilt fluffed back up like it was when it was new. Just getting everything broke up and lofted again.
It's good to just do some kind of systematic thing to break it up. But like what Don was saying, if you don't take the time to pull that apart, especially when it's untreated, it will lock together. Like you have to take the time to really pull it apart. Yeah, it's almost like a rock. It's amazing. It turns into pebbles, and you have to sit there and pull it apart. The untreated down, or the treated down, is 100 times better. But if you have an untreated down quilt and you wash it, you have to take the time to pull it apart.
Yeah.
You sit there and get a case of beer and sit down and just anytime you feel any kind of tension pulling it apart, make sure you strip it out. And it'll make a world of difference.
One thing that is also related to this, when you hear people talk about doing an overstuff, like we automatically do a 25% overstuff. People will go and some people offer an extra ounce or two. The overstuff isn't going to make your quilt any warmer, but one thing that it will do is if you're going to be out there for a long time, as your quilt gets dirty, it will maintain its original rating longer. So that's one of the biggest
locks
reasons.
In that temperature really good too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a frequent question. That's a question that comes up a lot with customers talking to us is, what about overstuff? I had a guy, we had a guy that ordered 3 quilts and put 5 ounces of overstuff in each one.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up contacting, what are you trying to do, man? Because at some point that overstuff counteracts the down.
Yeah. About at the 40% amount. At about 40%.
And for a couple ounces of overstuff, you can pretty much go up a temperature rating. So if that's your goal is to get a warmer quilt, just go up in temperature rating. I understand an ounce of overstuff. I get it, and it will lock in that temperature, and it will keep the loft longer on a through-arc or something like that. But at some point, it's just worth going up in temperature rating. instead of overstuffing like ridiculous.
Oh,
amounts.
there's a distinct line. I have a mistake that I made when we first started, where I put like the 0 degree down into a 20-degree baffle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 25-degree quilt. There's too much volume in there, and there's no air trapped, and it makes a mess. Like you can't overstuff your way to a better temperature range.
It keeps the down component's job. You're
exactly. Yeah, you can't do it.
All right, well, hangers, it is after 9 o'clock. I'm gonna drop these guys off to the back into the green room, and we'll wrap this up. And guys, hang on for a minute, and I'll be back. So, thank you for hanging out with us over the last couple hours. Let me know if you liked it, what I can do better, what I need to change. Always open to suggestions. If you're a vendor or a member of the Hammock community and you'd like to be on one of these podcasts with us, please feel more than happy to reach out to me. My email is going to be chrisg@Gear-Report.com. And it's been a long day, so typing skills are not on point. So, but again, if you need anything, I will catch you on the flip side. Holler, let me know, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks, guys.